Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a new show that my brother, Allegedly Dave, here is going to be doing. And we're going to be covering some very interesting things today. So I'm really, really happy. I've been wanting to work with Dave for a very long time, and today's the day. Now, just a little bit about Dave. Dave is the most phenomenal person ever. You're going to love his work. You can check out his channel, Allegedly Dave. He's an author. He is a historian. He's a speaker, public speaker. He does the most amazing presentations. So check out his YouTube channel, which I think is D Murphy, is it? Your
D Murphy
YouTube channel.
25.
Sorry?
D Murphy 25.
D Murphy 25 on YouTube. Check out his presentations. He does the most amazing presentations. He's an amazing researcher, particularly on biblical topics. And so I have this idea to do a show which is basically looking at some of the current things that are happening and looking at these events through a biblical lens, if you like. So, in terms of prophecy and where we are today and what's unfolding before us today. And so, I'm really excited to be doing this. And obviously, my name is Seven for those of you who do not know me. So, Dave, how are you, first of all?
Oh, I'm all good. I know you guys are freezing over there, but I've been sweltering, so kind of balances itself out, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're in the Caribbean, aren't you?
Hmm.
Wow, lucky you, Dave. I wish I was there too. So, you were talking about um, potentially we've got another lockdown situation going to be happening in the UK. Can you just talk a little bit about what was it called, just so that people can start keeping their eyes open for that?
Okay, it's the idea of 15-minute neighborhoods or 15-minute cities. Um, I believe that they're actually trialing it in at least three or four places. I only know of Oxford and Canterbury. But essentially, it's so dividing a city into regions where everything you need should be within 15 minutes of you. And
Right.
so you are going to be um, prohibited from moving outside of your 15-minute zone. Right,
Wow.
so it's essentially the run up to the climate change lockdown. Yeah,
Wow.
so they're going to
Wow.
um, they're going to push it like yes, in order to protect the environment, yeah, you're not allowed to move outside of your zone, yeah, so that you don't
Well,
use a
we saw
car and
that
you don't
coming.
use
We did
yeah.
see that coming because with the whole pandemic situation, we saw that the roads were being rerouted, and then we've got this what three words? Do you know about what three words?
No.
It's to do with the grid. So I think it's every 3 meters, there are three words. So let's say Alpha, Peter, Foxtrot will be at one end, and then you go 3 meters, and then there's another three words. And across the grid, they have this thing which is every three words. So during the pandemic, we know that these things were put in place. So obviously, what we're talking about is a mass scale prison planet, and it's very important that we look at this from a perspective of prophecy as well, because one of the things you did in one of your presentation, I think it was your presentation, if Britain were black or something like that. What?
Yeah, why Great Britain is no longer black or great or British. Yeah.
Right. Why Great Britain is no longer.
Great or British.
Yes. Okay. You can check that out on Dave's channel or YouTube channel. I recommend it. It is absolutely a must watch for anyone who's interested in prophecy or just knowing who we are, how we got here, that is one to watch, particularly if you're in the UK or anywhere in the world. And so it's interesting, Dave, because the prophecy said that well, slavery, one of the things you've talked about in your presentations is that slavery began in 1619 and it ended in October, no, it was August of 2019, the
Yeah.
21st of August to be exact, of August 2019 was the end of that prophecy. So what we have
Mhm.
here is post the prophecy, the implementation of slavery revisited in all of the things that we're seeing. Would you agree, Dave?
I would say it's more of a last ditch attempt, right, to exterminate a bloodline, because essentially it's to stop this one bloodline from inheriting the stewardship of the earth.
And who's
Um,
that bloodline?
it's a bloodline of the children of Jacob, the Israelites.
Right, which is
And
who we are, right?
yep, that's it. Even though there are lots of people trying to claim that title, it turns out to be us because of well, you can just read about us in the Old Testament. It it basically describes that us as a people would be put into slavery and affliction for 400 years, ending in the last days. And we're in the last days now. It's there can't be any doubt about that at this point. Um, and so yes, we've just ended that period of 400 years. And if you go into Deuteronomy 28, the last half of Deuteronomy 28, it will describe what that slavery and affliction will look like, and everything in that chapter describes everything that not only the American, the so-called African Americans, they're not African, but not all, but yeah, the so-called African Americans went through, but it was also what the people in the Caribbean went through. It was also what the people in West Africa um, went through under colonialism. Um, and what the people in South America who look like us went through. It wasn't just this transatlantic slave trade; it was a worldwide event of a whole nation of people being taken into slavery.
That's right. And that is actually being revisited as we speak. I mean, a lot of people have been tweeting about Ye, formerly Kanye West, who sort of ignited this whole conversation about the Jews and him being cancelled for those for well basically calling him anti-Semitic. And then obviously we had the uh, basketball player Kyrie.
Ari Irving.
Yes, that's right. Brother Kyrie Irving, who tweeted the documentary from Hebrews to Negroes. And so now there's this whole massive wave of people digging into this stuff, and it's become quite a phenomena. And what is
Mm,
amazing is that there is a lot of European people, white people, if we want to use these terms, continue to use these terms. I mean, I use them sometimes because of the fact that that's what people relate to, but we know that we're not white and not black, any of these terms, because these are man-made constructs. But there's some really amazing documentaries and just videos going around with white people saying it's the black people who are in the Bible. We are the Israelites. They're recognizing that we are the Israelites, and it's coming out thick and fast. And it appears that this was something they were trying to prevent. However, it's one of those things where when you try to hold something back, you open the door for it even more. I mean, they kicked off with Kyrie Irving for tweeting that. He didn't make any reference to anything. All he did was tweet about it. And all of a sudden, there's an avalanche of videos about who are really the chosen people. We know that we're robbed left, right, and center to this day, and slavery continues to this day. However, the prophecy, as you are going to talk about, Dave, ended in 2019. So why are we still seeing the push to continue slavery, even worse than before?
Well, no, it's not a push to continue slavery. That's the thing. Um, First of all, we've got to be very wary of this Kanye West and the Kyrie Irving thing, um, because you've got to keep in the back of your mind anything that comes across the media, right, is allowed to be there. It's maneuvered to be there. It's not. It doesn't happen by accident. Nothing on the mainstream media happens by accident. Okay. The one thing that connects both of those stories is that Kanye West is a Christian. Even though he's realizing we're Israelites, he's still a Christian. He worships JC, and he'll mention him every chance he gets. Also, this documentary, Hebrews to Negroes, well, it also, leads those who follow it back into Christianity, albeit a Hebrew flavored version of Christianity, but it's still leading you back into Christianity, which is what's known as idolatry. Okay, so
So you're saying that Christianity, as far as from a biblical perspective, was never the intention of the Most High's people. Is that what you're saying here?
exactly, Christianity is a religion. We're not meant to be in a religion. We were never in a religion. Yeah, as Israelites, it was a way of life, not a religion, and that way of life was co-opted by various religions. And what they did was they took our writings, the Hebrew scriptures, and they put their own book on top, and wove a religion around the two. Right, but we never had a religion. They literally had to beat and torture and murder us into believing in this religion. And it's now so strong that a lot of our people are unwilling to give up the JC character.
When you say
The
JC, I mean, first of all, we know that people who generally follow the message of Christ, or Christ consciousness, as some people refer to it, um, are people of the Most High who are well intended. However, we know that the Bible itself has been co-opted. There's lots of books that have been removed from the Bibles, from the Maccabees to the Book of Barnabas, Enoch, the Apocrypha. There's many, many books from the Bible that were removed, and we can talk about that a little bit as well. However, when you say JC, the reference to Jesus Christ, are you referring because of the fact that the name Jesus was not something that was historically correct? Obviously, we know about the Council of Nicaea and the construct of Michelangelo painting the Sistine Chapel and creating the white depicted Jesus. Is that what you're saying in terms of us as a people, as people of the Most High, we shouldn't be following that construct? Is that what you're saying? What can you clarify?
Absolutely. The first commandment is, "Thou shalt not have any other gods before me." Okay, and it turns out that the arch enemy of the Israelites, people called the Edomites, um, they couldn't really defeat us because we were blessed by the Most High. So what they did was they learned that if we disobeyed the Most High, he would turn his back on us, we'd become weak. So when they came at us as Greeks, and you can read this in the book of Maccabees, when they came at us as Greeks, they tried to force us to worship Zeus. Now, yeah, worship Zeus and eat pork. And the book of Maccabees shows that people rebelled against the Greeks for that. And the Most High, turned back to them, and they were able to kick the Greeks out. But when they came at us as Romans, right, they'd learned from their mistakes. So instead of making us forcing us to worship this new or one of their gods, they created one of their sun gods and said, "No, this is your Most High. You have to worship him to get to the Most High." Okay, that didn't take. They tried and tried, but it didn't take. And that's what the Inquisitions were about. It wasn't about trying to convert pagans to Christianity. It was about trying to convert us to it, because as some of the books that I've read about it, they were saying that we were stubbornly clinging to the laws of Moses. So the Inquisitions were about torturing us to try and convert us to Christianity. And when that failed, what they did was they stole the children, I think from newborns to about the age of 14, took them away to a different place, an island called St. Thomas, and brought them up as Christians. They were given godparents. Yeah, that's where that comes from, right? And Christian names. Okay, and they were brought up to be Christians. And when they, got old enough, they were kicked off the island and into Africa, ready to be taken away as slaves,
So,
as Christian slaves.
so tell me,
Um,
from your perspective, obviously a lot of people have become wise to the fact that the J was not in the alphabet. And so obviously the Most High was not referred to as Jesus. That was a man-made construct, even though we do recognize that it's the message that's important. And obviously, there's a lot of people who have found salvation, and turned their lives around from it's a fact. There are people who were on a path of, waywardness and have found the Most High, even though, because we know that they put truth and lies together, right? They morph truth and the lies together, and that's how they've managed to manipulate people. However, we know that the Most High was not known as really Jesus, because that was a man-made construct. So what was the original name, would you say?
there wasn't one. The whole thing was concocted. Okay, look, the enemy knows that we were going to wake up. I mean, it's in the book, it's all over the book, that in the last days we're going to remember ourselves in the lands of our captivity. And that's exactly what's been happening. So they knew this was going to happen, right? So the JC character that had served them very well for hundreds of years basically had to be modified, right? That's why you started just recently, fairly recently, this idea of calling him Yeshua or Yahawashai or Yahusha or all those Hebrew sounding names, yeah, and then painting him black, right? Because they knew they were losing the black people from the churches, in droves. So they had to bring them back in by painting him black and giving him a Hebrew name, right? But that stopped working as well. So that's why they created these Hebrew Israelite camps who are saying, "Oh, we're Israelites, we're Israelites," but then still pushing the JC character, now called Yahusha or whatever, and leading him back into Christianity. So no, there was no original name. It's wholly made up, and it was wholly made up to either keep us in slavery and keep us in idolatry.
Wow, that's a powerful revelation. We've got a few minutes more before this section cuts off, but we'll be right back with you. That was just part one. We're going to be talking about, some of the ways that we can combat what's about to come at us, all of these mechanisms to keep us in bondage. We're going to be talking about why these books were removed from the Bible and how we should be proceeding. So stay tuned with us. Part one. Click like, share, and subscribe to this channel, which is Urgent UK News Updates, and Dave's channel, which is Dave Murphy 25. Or it's D Murphy
Or
25,
D
isn't it?
Murphy 25.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So we'll see you soon. Take care. All right.